Welcome to Finance at the Jobsite, the podcast where construction finance meets the field. I'm your host, Rishi Srivastava, founder of Being Human. In each episode, I sit down with construction CFOs, controllers, owners, project managers, IT leaders, ERP consultants, and industry experts to uncover how they connect the back office with the field, choose and implement technology, manage cash flow, and drive profitable projects. Whether you are running the numbers, leading the team, or designing the systems that keep moving, this is your place to learn what's working, what's broken, and what's next in construction finance. Today, our guest is Jerry Horani from VCC Construction. Jerry, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Rishi.
Of course. First section here, Jerry, is on your career journey and leadership. You started at VCC as a support engineer and grew into the CTO role.
Correct.
What experiences shaped your leadership journey?
Yeah, no, thank you. It's a great question. I was fortunate enough to start with VCC very early on. I was still in college, actually, when I started as a support engineer. My studies were around in computer science and engineering, along with information security, which allowed me to do a lot of not only support, but also light programming in the beginning. Did a lot of crystal reports and reporting and data gathering from different databases in my initial year of my career. And then really just grew with the company as it grew. But what I loved always about VCC is the only constant thing we call it at VCC is change.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed me to continue to always sharpen my programming and technology skills. VCC is a company that's never afraid of investing in technology or using technology or implementing or developing new tools when there was none. So along those years, 21 years now, really I've been fortunate enough to work with different aspects of the IT side of the business and just grow with the business into all of areas of IT until I became obviously the Chief Information Technology Officer. But I'm technical, I'm hands-on. I still love to work with the teams. I love to find solutions to problems. And again, sometimes we develop solutions if it doesn't exist.
Yeah. You were an early adopter of Being Human too.
Right, yes. Actually, there was a lot of forms early on that we've kind of digitized or kind of converted to e-forms way back before people really had actual solutions for them.
Yeah.
Really, our in-house developed software started. The very first version, actual version of the software was 1994. And it grew and it continued to grow and elaborate and kind of get upgraded throughout the years to today.
Yeah. How did your early hands-on programming work, for example, on .NET, SQL, Java, etc., influence the way you approach technology leadership today?
Yeah, it's a great question. One thing that is very difficult to do when you are a programmer or when you're starting your career in a programming is to take the programming challenges and relate the business challenges and kind of take it all the way down to technical, but be able to take your technical challenges and go up as well to programming, to the business challenge and deliver a business solution. And when I say that, I mean taking a business requirements and breaking it down all the way to get it to a technical requirements to be able to develop around it is a challenge that I've always loved to take. I've always kind of loved the side to where sit down, I'm like, okay, forget any programming, tell me the business challenge, explain the business to me. And over the years, you learn so much, then you become kind of in nature to see a new programming language or to see an advantage in a new language and say, oh, that could help me solve that problem. Because with experience, you'll get to know a lot of the challenges and problems. So that, to me, was one of the most fun but challenging side of the equation.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times in newer languages, they are solving some new problems that you as a technologist are encountering.
Yeah. So I mean, this is way back, but when object-oriented programming was kind of publicly adapted, we saw that, it could help us a lot moving our code base to it, for example, and unify a lot of things and have objects that we could put business logic in and use it all over the place. So every time there is a a new technology, advancement, I always look for where it can help us in our business. So that's been kind of a lot of the secret sauce of how we implement things or how we go about things.
Yeah. Yeah. Secret sauce.
Mhm.
As a CTO, how do you balance innovation with maintaining VCC's culture, mission, and values?
Yeah. Again, you're asking really great questions. We're in an industry that's a lot of big portion of it is resistant to change
Mhm.
as a construction industry. So when you put technology in there, change management and explaining the how, and also what I've learned throughout my career is gaining partnerships amongst my own team helps me a lot adapt these changes and make these technology changes in the business and the innovations and keeping doing that while keeping our core culture or our core. One of I always say this, one of our main fabric components of our VCC's culture is change and is, hey, you know, there's got to be always a better way, and if the better way doesn't exist, we'll invent it, and that is proven throughout our stack of solutions throughout the years and our support to startup solutions that we can see the vision of, we can see the problem they're trying to solve, but still kind of within our VCC's culture. So we kind of ingrained it in our fabric to be able to be innovative and solve problems.
So you've worked closely with department heads as an advisor on technology.
Yeah.
How do you foster collaboration across technical and non-technical teams?
Yeah, I call myself a consultant to them. So I'm a consultant for
Mhm.
the department heads. I meet with them almost, oh, maybe at least in the beginning of the year for sure, early, to understand what's your goals for your department this year and how can we help better that? How can we help give you the right tool to do or to deliver the vision for your department? So I always, one thing I've also learned is if you come across as more of a team player that you're trying to help them and not kind of shove technology down their throats, you're going to be more successful. So I'm a partner, I'm a consultant to all of the guys in the business, aside from the infrastructure and whatnot. But from a business solutions, that's how I work. And in turns, it's great because what happens is when they have the next challenge, they're like, okay, Jerry, let me ask you about this and what's your take on it? So then I become really more involved in the business organically and not by, you know, being a CTO or a management team member.
Yeah. I was talking to another speaker, and he had a point like people before technology. Yeah. And it seems like your vision lines up with that. The next section here, Jerry, is on technology, vision, and strategy. What does aligning technology vision with business strategy look like in construction?
Yeah, I mean, right now, honestly, it's all about how do you align, how to take your business vision, understand where the company's going. If your company's trying to grow 2 times, 3 times, or
Mhm.
20%, that's going to change your technology vision and how you're going to implement solutions and which solutions and which technology stacks you're going to partner with. So I look at the business as first, it's a business. Let's admit it. Two,
Mhm.
okay, where is the business headed? Do I have the right stack of technology solutions to meet the business vision and where we're going? And if I don't, how do I get there? Because it's easier to sit and talk and say, oh, I want to, a goal, a vision without goals is a dream. I always say that. So aligning your technology vision with business strategy, they're going to go hand in hand. They're going to be parallel. And you have to be able to speed things up or slow things down as the business strategy allows. So really it goes to the second item, which is being agile. Uh, and in the whole overall solution. So what I mean by that is you can't anymore work on something for 7 months and just wait to send feedback. The business strategy doesn't allow for that. So we've
Mhm.
really moved to more agile development and deployment years ago to where we could start putting things out in a pilot user group and get feedback quickly, learn from it, and reiterate as fast as you can. And really the answer to that is speed, because how fast can you iterate? You will fail. There will be some initiatives that will not be 100% success from the first go around, but the question is always going to be how fast can you iterate and learn and get better.
Yeah, Silicon Valley has this vision of fail fast.
Right. Yes.
You don't want to be,
Yes.
taking a long time to fail.
That's right. Which I 100% agree with. Fail fast. Fail fast
Yeah.
so you can get up and move.
Right.
If you're going to fail fast, absolutely. I agree with it 100%.
You've implemented agile and mobile development methods at VCC. What lessons have you learned about adoption in construction?
That's what I was leading to in my earlier point. We have, and the biggest lesson is what you just said. If you're going to fail fast. Get feedback and win feedback. And the one thing I've learned over the years, and it continues to be right, is sometimes you, as a technologist, will think that you know everything about the business. But when you learn more from actual business people and be in the day-to-day with them, you'll figure out that sometimes you're wrong. Learning or figuring that out quickly, which goes back to fail fast, is part of the success and part of kind of the long-term vision of delivery.
Yeah. Yeah. And generally, construction teams tend to be reluctant to IT changes,
Yeah.
as well. So failing fast is important there too. How do you evaluate new technologies? What's your framework for research, case studies, and determining implementation probability?
We're a big company, but the beauty of our company, we operate as a small family business. We are a big
Mhm.
company. And that gives me a lot of advantages to be able to, if I research and I find the tool and I quickly think the ROI on the tool is high, and it doesn't take a big complicated equation, to be frank. If you start
Mhm.
going to these big equations of if it doesn't make sense from the get-go, it's not going to make sense after you put numbers to it most of the time. So the beauty of our company is we do move fast. If we do see a solution, we identify a pilot user group, we put it out, we get feedback, and if their ROI is high, we are not afraid to change into it. It goes both ways. Sometimes it makes things a little bit challenging because you're early adopter by nature if you do that of solutions, but you can also be an early winner as well most of the time if you know the business and kind of know what your ROI is.
One thing that early adopters have is that they get to kind of dictate the technology for latecomers.
Right.
Early adopters, they come in, and the technology is not fully ready, maybe even.
But it can become part of building the solution too.
What role does data warehousing and smart reporting play in scaling a construction company?
I think that's probably one of the best questions you have because
Mhm.
in construction, if you ask anybody in construction, it's all about reporting and it's all about producing good reporting mechanisms because in construction, you're not alone. VCC is an entity, but then you've got on every project, there is the VCC entity and there is many subcontractors. Each is an entity. Then you've got the architect, which is an entity, and the owner is an entity, and the lender is an entity. So you can look at a project and we're not alone. We're together as one team
Mhm.
delivering the project, but at the same time, we're all separate entities. And the most traditional way over the years those entities communicated is through reporting.
Mhm.
Being able to accurately report via Power BI, via static reporting, via portals, however you want to look at it, is the way to solve problems. And that was actually the first development project I worked on in the company was developing crystal reports. I remember it back then. It was crystal reports before SAP bought them. But the idea or the gist of it is that's how these entities communicate. So to get reporting, you have to have accurate data. To have accurate data, you have to have ways to put this data with information architecture into a data warehouse that you could tap into and actually get good reporting and stitch data from different components of your systems. And we're very proud of our data warehouse. We built it since 2018. Really, we started our data housing project and it grew over the years. It encompassed all of our systems, internal or external or third parties or via APIs and whatnot. But that is what we saw. The vision was to get our data warehouse with information architecture built with the vision long term to be able to do AI on good data.
One quote from you I remember is information architecture before artificial intelligence.
That's right. You have to have IA before AI, 100%.
Mhm.
If you're teaching, it goes, it's very simple. AI is learning, and it
Mhm.
learns from bad data, then it will produce bad results. It's
Yeah.
just that simple. So, as smart as it could be, just like your kids, you can, very
Mhm.
smart kid, but if you feed him bad data all the time, his outcome would be bad.
Yeah.
But as smart as he can be.
Mhm.
So good data and accurate and quality data is going to lead us to better results overall.
Yeah. Next section here, Jerry, is on innovation and systems development. You've led the development of Endeavor CMS, a complete construction management system. What gap did you see in the market that drove this innovation?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Back when we started this, there were literally maybe 2 or 3 construction management solutions on the market. They did
Mhm.
not have all of the, a platform. I call the Endeavor product that we have is a platform. It's not just it's a solution. It's a platform. And if it's developed and kind of grew over the years to become a back end even platform with a data warehouse that syncs things from different systems and whatnot. There was a lot of gaps between operations and project management that led us to build Endeavor and continue to build on it and invest in it. That's a big gap. That was, and even if you look at solutions today, that gap still exists. You have a solution that's really good with operations and field operations, and you'll have some solutions that are good with project management solutions, but there's still gaps in between. Things have gotten better, but still, it wasn't. That was the biggest challenge that we're trying to overcome, and we over the years saw the need to go and build a mobile app and make it mobile and have portals. Initially, we used IBM WebSphere and Oracle. So, over the years, technology will force you to change and develop to continue having a good business application.
Yeah, one thing I've been thinking about it for a while is like all these construction accounting systems, they're like from 80s. Some project management system, they're mostly maybe like from 2000s, a lot of them. But like, how are these construction accounting systems sitting on really these old technologies and architecture? What is your take on that?
It's a good question. Every day, and I know you follow the space very closely, but every day there is new applications being launched.
Mhm.
But if you look at the ERP or the accounting systems, that doesn't happen every day. I think there are some certain systems people are staying away from because I don't want to rebuild an accounting system. That doesn't sound, interesting. But I'd like to build something that bolts onto it and make certain workflow easier or more streamlined or better. And that's, I think, why you're seeing what you're seeing is kind of that mindset of whoever want to build a new app. They want to take small bites at the apple, but I think when they get to the ERP or the accounting system itself, everybody's like, well, I don't want to get an accounting system. So that's why we're left with the big companies that will still control the accounting system.
Yeah, yeah. So there's this company, Rylet, and they are an accounting software, and they are AI native accounting system. I'm not sure whether you've heard of them or not.
What's the name?
Rellet, RELLET, and they just read Series A, AI first in the accounting, And I do feel like construction deserves a disruption like these. There's this bolt on. I mean, you can only improve so much, but like to get into the market, let's think about it. It's hard, right? It's not just tech challenge; it's also funding challenge and all that stuff. So that's what maybe the bolt on is okay. But what are your take on like just building a complete AI first construction accounting system?
Oh, I mean, I think if you get the right minds and the right funding and the right structure, it's the I think the industry's due for one. Absolutely. Because there is not a complete AI based ERP system. There's again, like I said, there's a lot of add-ons, but nothing complete from the get-go. So I don't think it's a bad idea. I think you have to have the right players because it is a complex, very sensitive system that you have to build. One thing that I would like to add to that, and I know there was big hypes about it at some point, and now it's probably not as much, but I've actually done major studies around even putting blockchain type accounting ERP system in construction that will encompass things like electronic lien waivers and things that, if you look at the construction industry and you look at the way where you have too many kind of separate entities that don't trust each other but really have to work with each other, it's a prime use case. I've done tremendous studies around that for blockchain. So if you put blockchain and AI together on something like that, I think it'd be a huge success.
Yeah, and it's not just AI actually. If you look about these construction and accounting system, they're not even in web. A lot of times they're like old architecture from 70s and 80s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So next question for you, Jerry, is with your focus on revamping Endeavor CMS for mobile responsiveness, what are the biggest challenges in bringing enterprise grade tools to the field?
Honestly, it's just people, change management with people. That's the biggest challenge. It's not the technology. It used to be the internet connections and whatnot. We've overcome that as a world with 5G and all that. I think it's mainly just the people side of it, the change management. I've done something for so long and it works. Why would I change? That kind of thing. But yeah, I would say that would be it. But you
Yeah.
overcome it with just people skills and explaining more and efficiencies and whatnot.
How has your experience with enterprise platforms like IBM, WebSphere, Domino Systems, and Oracle shaped your approach to building VCC's internal tech stack?
Yeah, thank you. A lot of these systems seems dinosaurs to a lot of people, but what they've taught me the best in my experience is scale. Every system, every company, what you've mentioned, the biggest takeaway always, if you look at each of them, is security and scale. A lot of companies can come up and build a quick workflow and do magic on the web. You could do that. But what these systems taught me the most, I would say, is how to scale and how to build secured systems.
Yeah, I think when the load and the latency
Yeah.
requirement go up, your production system needs to perform, right?
Right.
Can you share how automation through e-forms, electronic signatures, or procurement systems has impacted efficiency and decision making at VCC?
Tremendously. I mean, when we've started doing e-forms, I remember we started building our electronic pay application portal. I want to say we're probably, I don't want to, I will say we're probably one of the very, very, very first, if not the first company to take a pay app electronically. Yeah, if we're not the first, we're probably one of the top 3 or 4 people. When we built the pay app portal to where people could submit their pay application or invoicing on the portal. So electronic forms and digitizing that was a huge shift because then you just don't have to do paperwork, improved our efficiency and workflow, the queue management things going. It was amazing. And then from there, we went on to basically take every form we have and basically electronic or digitize the form. And then, we partnered with IBM initially for electronic signature, then partnered with DocuSign, and then went away from, a lot of people probably watching this will remember the days, if not still doing it today, of FedExing contracts and things to be signed and returned via FedEx. And electronic signature just made that go from days to hours, then to minutes, then to now seconds. So big jumps. Those are big jumps. If you look at the history of our company, big leaps in technology.
The next section is on data analytics and scale. Construction generates huge amounts of data. How do you think about scaling data infrastructure so it becomes actionable insights instead of noise?
Yeah, no, this section, I could sum this whole section with 2 things. One is you have to have a very good, clean data warehouse as a company to where you can access your data and what the architecture of that data warehouse is. And then you have to really have good systems to make sure your people are actually feeding the systems good data. So if you do those 2 things, then obviously it is a huge amounts of data. But with architecture, then you can tap into it with tools like Power BI. We used business intelligence reporting tools, Crystal reports, you name it. We've used it. We've even used Excel, getting data from databases. XML. We've done all of that. Over the years, you will, as technology changes. But that's what's going to enable you to have those insights, is having good architecture on your data warehouse, and good data.
Those two are the pillars.
Mm.
What's your vision for leveraging business analytics and reporting to help executives make better decisions at VCC?
My vision is really more like everybody's vision. How can I get better reporting so I can make faster decisions? So it's just every business leader want good report that they can trust so they can make good decision, but not just good decision, but fast decisions, because speed is so important in everything
Yeah.
you do, really, not just construction, but think about it even in life. If you're going to take a long time to make a good decision, by the time you make a good decision, it becomes bad by just the nature of you being delayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I look at it as good decisions, but how can you make the best decision fast enough?
I used to work at a trading shop about 6 years ago, and our reports, you know, they were tough to generate, and they were a lot of times they were not right. I feel like they were not right maybe 10% of the time. We say that value at risk is like 10 million, and actually it's just 1 million. It's kind of, getting accurate report timely is so important. So, how do you see technologies like AI, predictive analytics, or IoT shaping the next generation of construction technology?
It really, I think, I'll be lying to you if I tell you AI is not going to help. I think AI is going to help huge. And I think the most area it's going to help is increasing efficiency, but
Hmm.
also, how can AI learn from good data for a company so you can avoid mistakes in the future in construction? So if AI can help me build a better project and avoid mistakes I've made in the past by learning from this data, and not depending on somebody to remember to tell me, oh, hold on that job, we've learned that you got to do such and such testing because you're using such and such material, but more like some kind of a system that will outshine these things. I think that's going to be the
How do you think one would build such kind of AI which can actually learn from, let's say, your company's data and tell you, hey, then on this project, you got to do this kind of testing
it goes back to the
because in the
yeah,
past.
it goes back to the cleanness of data, but it also goes to we're building similar things to what I just described. We're trying. It goes back to initially feeding the system good architecture with the data, but then also when you need the information, you still have to have some humans knowing what to ask and how to ask and when to ask and how to put this together. But the speed of putting it together, I think that's what AI can help.
Yeah, makes sense. The last section here, Jerry, is on community and personal impact. You've contributed to projects supporting children with special needs. How does that community focus influence your leadership style?
Through our company, we have VCC Cares is a organization within our company that we give back to the community through various activities with our vendors or business partners, and those are the things that kind of take the day-to-day pressure and challenges away and kind of keeps you humble sometimes. We're all
Mhm.
humans at the end of the day. So the impact that VCC Cares have on our community and local charities here is huge. And it enables us to not only just help whoever's kids or whoever's in need, but also enables us to look at things from a perspective of and enhance our network with our partners. That sometimes we have not only a common shared goal of delivering a project, but also a common shared goal of delivering an event to help whoever is in need. So those are things that I look at, proud to be part of, and proud that our company does.
Yeah, yeah. Your spiritual side or emotional side, that needs to be taken care of well too.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's a complete picture. Life is not, so you got to stitch it all together. But yes, we are very proud. We have our upcoming VCC Cares in October, always
Mhm.
the biggest event in our offices, and we raised a lot of dollars, obviously, over the years. And we will do that again this year, along with our partners, business partners, trade partners, clients, and everybody else to kind of help being part of the communities.
When you step back from day to day, what excites you most about the future of technology in construction?
It's a question I actually a lot of time ask myself when I'm frustrated.
Mhm.
We all get frustrated. Is where is this whole thing going, right? Because when you go,
Mhm.
like I was at Kansas City
Mhm.
earlier this week, and I was actually talking to our CEO. We're looking at a historic building, beautiful building, and some of our peers in our company, and I was amazed. It's a historic building. I was amazed by the stonework on this building. It's amazing. We've renovated it. It's a historical building. We've renovated it, or we've repurposed it into a hotel. But when you look at the historic parts of the building, the stonework, the details, and all of that is such an amazing thing. But I also knew they did not have AI or laser scanning or a lot of these or 360 reviews back when they built it, but they still built it with such detail that it's amazing, still amazing to this day. So it always leads me to ask, wow, we have so many technology tools, and we as a world, we continue to build big things, but there were things that were great that were built before these tools too. So where these tools can take us, and I think it's two things. I think I may be wrong, but I think what excites me about the future of construction and technology is the speed of good things that can be built, and the continuous kind of attention to detail as you build is what these tools are going to give you. I mean, listen, concrete, people have been pouring concrete since I don't know when, right? It is built, but I think, the speed of construction is what these tools are going to allow us, and the new tech is going to help us do, and avoiding issues. But the speed of construction is what it's going to be.
Yeah. One thing that just occurred to me is there's a conspiracy theory which talks about pyramids were built by aliens, because there's no way they could build that kind of stuff with the technology that they had. What do you think about that?
You watch that and you get into the episode and you start believing it. I don't know. Honestly, it is obviously a miracle that the way when you look at the size of the stones, and it's one of the places I want to go visit. I don't know. I do not know. I know one thing, that even if you try to build them today, it's a big challenging thing to do. I don't know if you get the right tools or people or technologies for that. And especially when you look at the engineering side of light during the day and the certain areas it hit and the air kind of flow, there was definitely a lot of smarts.
Yeah. Jerry, it was great chatting with you today. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Rishi. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Finance at the Job Site. If you found today's conversation valuable, share it with a teammate and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. You can listen on Spotify or watch on YouTube. Just search Finance at the Job Site. Until next time, here's to building smarter, faster, and more profitable projects.